Hi, thanks for watching this video. So this is the first of a short series of videos, thinking 3 or 4, where I just talk about my tarot journey so far, because I am celebrating my first full year of really serious study of the tarot and cartomancy in general. So I'm going to begin here at the beginning of this year when I found this deck, the Bad Bitches Tarot. So I found this deck during the pandemic. I was searching for a face mask that was made or being sold by a person of color, and I was on Etsy, and I ended up not actually buying a face mask from this particular seller, but I did buy this deck because the energy was exactly where I was at that moment. So that was June 2020. And I got this deck, and I have to say, it's really started me on the most amazing journey. And this first card up here is what I was soon to learn was my significator, the Queen of Pentacles. Although I also have a great deal of affection for the Queen of Wands. Here she is. And I was using the little white book here, the guidebook, which was helpful, and I was getting these amazingly accurate readings with very little knowledge of what I was doing. So I looked into the creator, Ethony, and I went online, found out some stuff about her, watched some videos, read a bunch of her blogs, and took her advice. And her advice was to read. And I got these 2 books, Holistic Tarot and the 78 Degrees of Wisdom. Fantastic books, can't recommend them highly enough. This is the one that I used the most. This one, I read it, sort of card by card, and I use this more as a reference text, but this one has really been a textbook, a real guidebook for me. And I worked myself through the beginning grade of her self-study guide and the intermediate grade. Here's my big notebook of keeping my notes like it was my class. Because I did not have a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, I printed out these flashcards that Benebell Wen has created that you can get. And then I just got to work, and I just studied and studied and studied, and I took notes and I took notes and I took notes. And I really got after it. And she has you do, in that course, she has you do a lot of readings and logging the readings and keeping track of everything. And I did it. I did a lot of work, and I did a lot of Ethony's Tarot by the Moon spreads, which you can find on her website, and I experimented with how to keep track of my readings. And this style I really appreciate when I see in other people's journals, but it was really hard for me to do it. I do better sort of sketching it like that, but often it's just a straight up write it out. I like these worksheets that Benebell Wen provides for her with the tarot study guides. So it wasn't long before I realized that just limiting myself to this particular deck didn't let me really see the other symbols and imagery that a real RWS style deck would. So of course I had to buy another deck. Now before we proceed to that, I will say that I had a false start somewhere around 5 or 6 years ago. I took a workshop, and I was so enamored with the idea of reading cards that I immediately bought 2 decks. I bought Shadowscapes, and I bought this one, which is out of print right now, the Guardians of Wisdom card. I don't know if it will come back or not, because it's been out for a long time. Anyway, and then I found Don Michelle at Boho Tarot and learned how to modify decks. So of course I had to modify these decks. I immediately, once I learned that that was a thing, I started edging and cutting things up. And you know, later kind of regretted that I had messed with an out-of-print deck, but that's okay. Still, this did not, neither one of these decks really answered my need for a really traditional imagery to study so I could understand the RWS system better. So I got this deck. So now we're up to, I guess, August or September of 2020, and I got the Everyday Witch deck, which I really, it really helped me sort of solidify that RWS system, because she does use, I should say they, the creator as well as the artist, they really do use a lot of those, the symbols and the colors that you need to see if you're going to learn some of these symbols. And also there are a lot of things in holistic tarot here where I needed to see more characters, more background, so that I could take into consideration things like which way are people facing and what's happening with the sky and all of that. And I couldn't get that with the Bad Bitches Tarot. Although, you know, not to badmouth that, it's a great deck, and I still pull it out at certain times when I need that kind of energy. So, and here we go. Of course, I had to edge this one, right? Yeah, that happened. So, that is kind of the beginning, my first steps. And so in the next couple of videos, I'm going to talk about what happened and how I got to the end of this first year. But I will fast forward and say, where am I now? What am I using? And I'll say that right now I am using the Gentle Tarot. This is it. These are the cards that I pulled for today with this Oracle card from the Sacred Creators deck. And I have to say that I am getting fantastic messages and guidance from this really gentle tarot. And it has more imagery that I need. This, you know, I really do need the background in the sky and the other stuff happening. And there's a lot of fabulous things about this deck and why it works for me now, but that's kind of a long conversation. Like, how did I get from here to here? And I don't want to make a long video. So this is just going to be this little short one, the beginnings and where I ended up. And then I'm going to do a couple of other videos that just sort of walk through how I got to where I am and some of the tools that were great and some hits and misses with some decks, because I got decks now. Yes, I'm not a collector. Every deck that I have I really use, but I have a lot more decks than I thought I would have at the end of a year. I've surprised myself, but it's been wonderful and it feels rich and abundant, and I really don't regret any of the time or energy or money that I've spent, because it's been such a growth year, and I think tarot's fabulous. Thanks for watching, and I hope as I become more accomplished, more knowledgeable, and more focused about what I want to share, that I'll have more videos to post that will be helpful for people. Take care, be well, and find joy wherever you are. Bye-bye.